This is the Bart Winkler Show, and if I'm going to talk about up north, I have to do it with Grant Bilse. Not just because you're a true Wisconsinite, but you've actually lived in the area near where up north would be.
The
So
DMZ.
the
Yeah.
DMZ.
Yeah.
What is a problem? Because I'm not the first to bring this up. I'm not the first to try to make content out of it, but I want to be the last because there is a definitive answer to the question, what is up north? And I think the first thing that I want to get out there in doing this is you saying I'm going up north can mean one of two things. It can be we are traveling to a place on the map that is more north than I am at right now.
That's lowercase up north. We're going up north. It's a verb.
Yes. But up north, capitalized, is an actual place. And I would like to hear your thoughts on where up north, this magical, mystical land actually stops and starts in Wisconsin.
Well, it's not my thought. It's what's correct. And this is what annoys me about this topic is everyone's always opening it up for debate. This isn't a debate. Like you can say wrong answers in Travis Wilson's, Twitter mentions. Like you can throw around. That doesn't make you right. It's Highway 8. That's what it is. It's been decided. And this makes me more mad than any sports topic. I have to stop myself from being a dick on Twitter because I was being a little bit of I gatekeep this. I get really mad.
Well, I think so. Highway 8 is a period that runs from, we're talking like Forest Lake, Cameron, Bradley, Pembine, Rhinelander.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking up there. Up north. I think there's two ways to look at this exactly. One is that when you travel somewhere, for instance, there's a great lake called Pearl Lake, and it is like heaven.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a buddy who has a cabin there. He actually has to travel south from where he lives to get there. Mm-hmm. If you just opened your eyes one day and woke up, you'd say, well, I must be up north. No, fam. You're 20 miles from Oshkosh. That doesn't count. Also, if you look at the state, Highway 8 is like the first highway that actually is above Minneapolis. I think it has to have some consideration. You can't be somewhere in Wisconsin and be up north if you are further south than the Twin Cities.
Well, that's a point I've never made. When you look outside of the context of our borders, when you look outside the lakefront and the riverfront, you need to consider other landmarks around. So the Minneapolis, that's a point that I never thought of 100%. And Bart, the Pearl Lake, you said you would think you were up north. That's just a testament to our state and the Great Lakes. We have so many, right? Like there's plenty of there's killer lakes around La Crosse, and I'm sure there's Great Lakes down around Beloit. We have wonderful, beautiful
places around Beloit that look up northy. I've traveled down to the Algonquin area in Illinois. Mm-hmm. And you would think you are up north because there's like weird ass bars on rivers, and it's just like, but it's not. You can get the up north experience outside of a camp bar in real life, Wisconsin. Yeah. And just because you're from Chicago and going to Lake Geneva, or you're from Milwaukee and going, to Watoma, or you're from Oshkosh and going to like outside Swamico. You're going north, but you're not up north. Let me take the camera off, if I may, and show you. Now, there is a problem with this, and that is that U.S. Highway 8 was formed in 1926.
Okay.
But the map that I have here is a highway map built in 1924. Is when it was commissioned. Okay. So none of this area, anything under, let's start at Lake Winnebago, the top of Lake Winnebago.
Mm-hmm.
Across the state, anything under that has to automatically be considered out of the running. Then you would even go up further. I mean, you can't be level with Green Bay and be up north.
No.
That takes you over to like what's up, Trempolo, and then we're still south of Eau Claire. Eau Claire is to be up north. A lot of people want to say Highway 29, but
That's
Wausau
horseshit.
is not up north. So Highway 8 is the definitive answer. And on this highway, on this map, I think it's listed as Highway 14. But you got to be in like Hayward or Spooner.
Yep.
Or what else?
Gordon,
Eagle River,
Barnes,
Rhinelander.
Swollen Springs.
Yeah,
Minot.
of Barnes. And let me tell you something as well regarding up north. The UP is considered up north.
Yeah.
The UP is considered. So we think it's a Wisconsin thing, but the UP has just, I mean, that is up north. And it may even have more terrain than Wisconsin does. There is a definitive answer to this, and that's really all that we're here to accomplish. I know you might have a cool cabin outside of Wisconsin Rapids, or
I'm sure it's beautiful.
I mean,
I'm sure it's a beautiful town.
We live in a beautiful state. But up north, it's not like a state of mind. It is an actual place with borders and boundaries. And it is Highway 8, the Mississippi, Lake Superior, and then Lake Michigan and Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's the boundary. It is a place. The direction, lowercase, but it is an actual place. And I just think that once people just settle this argument and realize what they're arguing, they're trying to say, well, what is Wisconsin to you? It's the borders of the state. This is literally the same thing.
It is. It's a state within a state. And I know a lot of people who live in Madison or Milwaukee or like Oshkosh or Appleton, and they're like, well, I have a cabin outside of Wisconsin Rapids. That's up north. And it's not these people's fault.
You do drive up north and go to a place that looks like a postcard of some of these places at the top of our state, but it is not within the boundary of what up north is.
And I understand not everyone has been to Gordon or been all the way up there. And that's you, but don't speak about what you don't know. Don't be on Twitter saying, well, anything north of Milwaukee or Madison, that's basically fucking up north to me because I've lived in Brookfield my whole life. Okay, well then you're I don't need your opinion on this. I don't need to hear you speak on this. And this does matter, Bart. There is a Madison Milwaukee exceptionalism, and when we let this up north casual talk go unchecked, it infects other conversations. Like today, someone tweeted at me like they were mad about the closing of the concessions in the Brewer game because it only went a little over 2 hours. And this guy who's a good caller to my show, and if he calls this week, I'll talk to him about it. He's basically like, if they keep closing concessions this early in a short hour, they're going to lose Madison people. We're not going to come to games. It's like, oh, you poor people that live, an hour and 5 minutes from the ballpark. But when they're allowed to think, when those people are allowed to think up north is Wausau and we are in Madison and we can't close concessions early, we just lose scope of the state as a whole.
Yeah.
And one more thing, Bart, for all the shows that think they're statewide, because everyone thinks they're statewide now, it's on those folks to understand this, and so many people don't. Sorry.
No, like Merrill, Medford, Anago, Tomahawk, Chautauqua. Don't cut it.
Chautauqua's cool.
Highway 8.
I love Chautauqua. I have friends and families cabins. I spent a lot of time in Chautauqua, but we're driving north about an hour to have a fun weekend. That's not up north. Up north is like you go outside at night and you're like, I'm kind of scared because it's silent and the pines look different and it's different. And Chautauqua is great. Again, northerly direction, but Chautauqua is not up north.
And I'll tell you because we're radio guys.
Uh-huh.
The way that you can tell, if you ever want to test, if you don't have a map and want to test, am I up north? Get a radio, because you will be able to, on your radio, find 3 stations tops. Right. Statewide includes the whole state. You can't go up to Appleton and consider yourself a statewide show. You got to be across the state. So on a normal weekend, you'll be able to get 3 stations. Whatever rinky-dink station up there has the Brewers affiliate. You'll be able to get a swap shop. If you're not getting a swap shop,
Well, like a buy, sell,
Saturday
trade?
morning, where people buy, sell their wares, you're not up north. And then the other one is there's one station that plays music, and it's either called the Wolf or the Bear or the Eagle or something like that.
The Eagle.
And that's it. That's all the 3 stations that you get.
You get
and
your
that's how you can tell. Like, that's your compass if you ever don't know where you are.
You get your farm reports in the morning. Corn price is up, beef is down, however many cents. And I didn't grow up north. I grew up about a little over an hour south of Rice Lake. So I was within spitting distance if you're driving, but I had farm report. Like, even you get close to up north. I love the farm reports in the morning. Beef's down a couple bucks, corn's down.
If the line for Bill Michaels is shorter than the line for Pam Yankee, you are up north.
Yeah.
You are up north.
I want to go to the golf thing in Rice Lake with Bill. I would love to. I love Rice Lake. It's like anytime you're up in the middle of nowhere. Rice Lake's not that big, but it feels big because that's the hub for everyone and everything. So the hospitals are on steroids, the grocery stores are on steroids, the malls. That's another calling card of up north. Is any town worth, more than 10,000 people, it's going to feel like it's way bigger just because everyone's coming from an hour or 2 around to, get their things.
Yeah, there needs to be a place that sells live bait, but it's the only one within 30 minutes.
Yeah.
You can't be like, oh, I don't want to go get bait here. I'll get it at the BP station or the Shell. No, these places, this is not, there's a finite place where up north is. And I'm glad that we're in agreement of this. And I hope that this is, sadly, it won't be the end, but I hope it's the beginning of what is a realization of that this is an actual real life place.
It's a reckoning is what it should be, because so many people are very wrong. And I don't know. This isn't a debate, and yet we need to treat it like one to cater to the people who don't know the truth. Hold my tongue.
A lot of people arguing on this topic have never been to Lac de Flambeau, have never been up this far in the state, and you should be disqualified right away.
Where was your up north? You're in Fondy, so you're on the other side of the state of where I grew up, but where would you go up north? What's the first town that comes to mind?
I would think of Minocqua, where my aunt and uncle lived for a while. I mean, that was up north. I've been to a cabin in Lac de Flambeau, and I've been to one just over, I think once you get like Escanaba area, we're talking upper Michigan now.
Yeah. Iron River right across from Hurley. There's a strip club up there.
My mom was born in a town, and I forget the name of it. Stoughton, maybe? Stoughton was in the UP. The town she was born in doesn't exist anymore.
Not Houghton. Not Houghton?
Not Houghton, where there was a fire.
I was going to say Houghton's one of the biggies. There's Houghton and there's Marquette. Ontonagon.
No, it wasn't Stoughton. That's a place outside of Madison.
I was going to say, unless it's another.
Strike that from the record.
Tim can edit that out in post.
Yeah. No, there was Stoughton in upper Michigan. Anyway, I'll have to double check on that. I'll probably just edit that out.
Is there a guest, if I wanted to fill time with this week, because I got to do 6 hours a day by myself, is there a guest, like a geographer? Who would I even feel like there's got to be an expert on such things that I can.
Like a Wisconsin map expert?
Yeah, I would look at the UW schools and the programs, and one that has cartography, and then I'd look at their staff page.
I would look at the DNR offices.
Ooh, that would be good. Mm-hmm. I might do that.
And then report back. And then I'll steal your content and play it on my show.
Excuse me. That's something that's going to live on my show, 4 to 6. Might be a little bit of a reach when I'm filling in on other programs. But it'll live on my show.
Hats off to you. 4Golf hat, by the way, 4golfapparel.com. Promo code BART, 10% off.
I don't know if you're telling the story, by the way, on the pod. So if you're not, you can edit this out. But it was nice to see you this weekend. You came in and met another podcast listener in Madison after you left the Steve, which, by the way, are we calling it that now?
I think I call it the Steve.
It rules. I like that a lot. I think that's funny.
Yeah, I got to see Grant.
It was nice.
And someone else.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're permitted to say who. He can bring it up if he wants.
That's true. He can call and contribute.
All right. See you, buddy.
See you, Bart. Thank you for being right on this.